Well, hello everybody. I hope you can hear us. It is
It's Monday.
Monday, February 21st. This is the Dr. Simonds Metabolic and Weight Loss Ask Me Anything live Facebook show. We're answering your weight loss questions today. Sometimes questions about other things too. We're open in both offices, and today is a special day because, well, Michelle Kennedy's here with me. I'm Dr. Simonds. This is Michelle Kennedy. For those of you who don't know, Michelle is a nurse practitioner here in the Raleigh office, and today is a day where we're doing a kind of a patient appreciation thing where we're giving free lipotropic injections to any of our patients, active or not active, who've been here before and want to come in and take advantage of that. We have a registered nurse on site in both offices to give shots all day long.
Yes.
For free.
So the hours in Raleigh are 11 to 7.
Yeah.
And then in Durham, 12 to 7.
That's right.
So our Durham office at South Point, and we're here in Raleigh off Falls News Road.
That's right. So you can enter to win a Target gift card. As always, like we've been doing, you have to like the video and in the comments section, put hashtag Simonds AMA.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So we before the end of the show, that's how you register, and we will pick a winner.
Yes.
And we've been doing this every week for a while, and seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah. People like Target. I think it's because you can get anything.
That's right.
There.
You can get anything there.
Including
that's right.
Keto snacks, which is on our docket.
Right. Stay away
today.
from the candy bars, by the way. Go for the keto snacks. Okay.
That's right.
All right.
I think that was a good lead-in because Jessica from Durham, our first question, was asking about the lipotropic. She said she's thinking about stopping by today to get the free injections. She's never had them before and was wondering, what they are and what are the benefits. We've discussed this before, but I think this is a really good day to reiterate how valuable these can be for people. And I get a lot of them. I know you do too.
I do. And hey, I'm in my mid-50s and they make me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if I didn't know what was in them or any of that stuff, the bottom line is it really gives me a better sense of energy along with excellent sleep and improved mood. And I feel more well-rested when I get up. So I can tell when it's wearing off in a week or two, a week to 2 weeks, and I get them again.
Yeah.
And so it's probably indicative of the fact that I have, maybe don't get enough vitamins in my diet. I burn the candle at both ends, all these other sort of things. So I like them for that reason. Do they directly suppress your appetite? No. Do the individual components of those things, I made a list actually. Do the individual components support metabolic rate, detoxification, fight inflammation? Yes, if you read about them, they sure do. Yes. Does it benefit skin, hair, nails, your energy, sleep, and mood? For most people, yes. Yeah. They do like it for that reason. And so you're not going to find randomized controlled trials that kind of evaluate this stuff. They're just not out there. But it's vitamins, amino acids, fat burners, and all compounded into injections that we can give you here. And anyway, you may not know, like, hey, does this work for me? Is it going to make me feel as good as it makes Dr. Simonds feel? Well, we have today. You can try it out and see. If you like it, you can keep getting it. If you don't, well, we're not going to make you keep getting it. So
there's no side effects. There's no downside.
Right.
It's all natural compounds and vitamins, except there's a little bit of lidocaine. Just take the sting away. Lidocaine is similar to Novocaine. So if you've ever had anything numbed in your mouth for dental work, it's like a cousin, and it just takes a little bit of the sting away. But overall, a lot of people say they can't believe how pain-free and easy it is. It's a set of 2 shots, and generally we'll do 1 on each arm, but we could do the hips if needed. And I agree. I have people just say they feel better.
Yes.
And today is for you guys, right? It's for our patients who have been loyal to us as a business and have sought us to partner with on this journey, which is really hard. So we wanted to give back to you guys and let you have something. Any day of the week, though, you can come by and get these. It just happens to be this is the free day, just today. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just for existing patients. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, let's say you're not a patient and you want to start, you see this and you want to start doing this. You can come by and do it. Mm-hmm. You just pay the price for the shots. You fill out some paperwork to establish you as a patient. And we have patients that do that. So.
Oh, thank you, Charlie.
Yes, Charlie. I hope your golf game's doing well. And it's good to hear from you. Thanks for watching.
And yes, you're right. We always want to feel better, right? There's no downside to trying something that can help you feel better, because we say this all the time. When you feel better, you do better.
That's right.
So a lot of people will say, well, will I lose a lot more weight from from the shots? And we say, well, not necessarily, but if you're sleeping better, if your mood is better, if your energy is better, you're going to want to make good choices.
Indirect benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
Secondary benefits are really plentiful, really, really plentiful. So thank you, Charlie. All right, we can move on to Colleen from Raleigh asking, what are our top tips to get into ketosis faster? Faster is the word, because fasting is generally the quickest way to do it. Would you agree?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's kind of a few things to mention there. Just if you understand how the body works, okay, when you get into ketosis, what you're doing is you're switching over to burning fat as your primary energy source. Okay, what you've been burning is primarily glucose. All right, and it's kind of this insulin glucose thing, and that's what's keeping you out of ketosis. You then eliminate the sugar and the flour and the rice and the potatoes. You get that carbohydrate intake way down, your body then can't burn sugar anymore. Now, it's got some stored sugar. Okay, it stores it in your liver and your muscles, and for a while, it's going to break that down and keep your blood sugar elevated. Once you exhaust those stores, then it has to start burning fat, and you will start generating ketones. So as Michelle says, if you fast, okay, what's going to happen is you're going to have to draw on those stores pretty quickly. And after a day or so, they're going to be exhausted. And then you're going to start burning fat, okay? So that's a great technique to do it. The other thing I found is, look, when you exercise, okay, let's say you go out on a kind of a brisk walk for a few miles, you're going to exhaust all those stores. Okay, so that's another way to do it. To fast
and fuel quicker.
That's right. Yeah, and this is going to get you into ketosis faster. Now, I would plan for, if you're not in ketosis, you need to be taking down that carbohydrate count. But Robert Atkins, people think that Robert Atkins wrote his first book in 1992. That's not true. His first book was 1971. Okay, the guy had an extensive career where he treated a lot of very, very sick patients using these techniques. And in the first month, in that book in 1971, he allowed 4 things: meat, eggs, cheese, and butter. What is the carbohydrate count of those things?
Pretty much none.
0. Yeah. He took people all the way to 0. All right, and then after they were in ketosis and lost a good bit of weight, then he started to add in some vegetables. Right, leafy greens was the next thing. So that kind of gives you a framework idea of what kind of foods you should be eating when you want to get into ketosis. You need to get as close to 0 as possible, and don't buy into this baloney that says that somehow saturated fat from animals is bad. That is a hoax. And it's a scientific hoax. There's really not any, there was never really any convincing body of evidence that this was true. I recently attended a conference where a cardiologist gave this talk, and he went over how these recommendations were made, and then from the literature, the information on saturated fat, and he concluded that, look, you can't, from the literature, take an honest look at this thing and conclude that saturated fat somehow puts you at risk for cardiovascular disease. We really don't have that. So it's really more conjecture and hearsay, in my opinion, and just folks saying things rather than real science. I mean, the word science is thrown around, but it means you really got to examine the stuff and have an argument about it. And when that happens, you realize, look, and you and I see this all the time. Absolutely. When people eat saturated fat from animals and they cut out these refined things that never were in the human diet, refined sugar and grain and stuff, do they get sicker or do they get better?
Their weight goes down, everything goes down. Blood pressure,
everything goes down. It gets better. We got years and years of doing this. So I don't want you to be scared of that. Don't buy that argument that, if you eat cheese and butter and eggs and meat, that somehow something bad's going to happen to you. It'll get you into ketosis faster. You combine it with a fast, plus some walking, and boom, you're there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Colleen, if you need any extra tips, please give us a call. If you're an existing patient, come on in and see us. Colleen, one other thing I would say is that, if you're testing to see if you're in ketosis, don't bother testing in the morning. There's different routes to test. There's the urine dipstick test, there's a blood test, and then there's the breath test. Do it at like 5 in the afternoon. That's when it's going to be positive. It won't be positive first thing in the morning, even when you're in ketosis. So just don't do it then. Do it later in the day.
That's a really important point. Yeah. So thanks for watching. This is Dr. Simonds Asking Anything, live Facebook. We're answering your weight loss questions and health questions. entering to win a Target gift card. I see Lori and Charlie are there.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is
You got a
like the
50-50
video.
chance to win right now, Lori and Charlie. It's going good.
Good odds for you.
That's
But
right.
hashtag Simonds AMA, just like
That's
Lori did there, and then like the video. And you'll
Like the video, enter hashtag Simonds AMA. That gets you registered to win the gift card.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Wanda from Apex. Do you treat patients with thyroid disorders? And is it harder for weight loss? We do, in fact, treat patients with thyroid disorders.
Yeah.
This is quite common to the human condition.
Yes.
And it will not keep you from losing weight. Could it make you lose weight slower? Yes.
Yes.
But you will lose weight. I think the idea that you gain weight just because when you're dieting, just because you have the thyroid problem is erroneous. I have plenty of patients that have lost a lot of weight with thyroid problems. So it's true in most cases, the thyroid needs to be supplemented with thyroid hormone, and this is what primary care doctors and endocrinologists and so forth do. Many cases, I think they probably don't supplement enough. But I'm not interested in getting in a fight with them over it. So I just get you losing weight. So that thyroid kind of comes in two forms. You have the common form, which is hypothyroid. You don't produce enough thyroid hormone, and thyroid hormone regulates your metabolism, so you have a lowered metabolic rate. The second form is hyperthyroid. Okay, hyperthyroid is you make too much thyroid hormone and you have a very fast metabolic rate. Those people tend to be, for the most part, thin. As a result,
much more rare.
You're right. We don't typically see those because when you're thin, you don't come to seek the services of the guy who treats obesity, right? So it's really more of the hypothyroidism that we see here. The other thing I would say, I made this point in a talk that I recently gave, is that obesity is a disease. We talk about this all the time. The body fat does some things really that it should not be doing. It's dysfunctional. And you can develop a condition called leptin resistance. Leptin is the hormone that your body fat makes that tells your body you're full. And when you may have a lot of excess body fat, you're making too much of this stuff, you can become resistant to its effects. It can also drive up your TSH, which is the kind of test we use. When the TSH goes up, we say, oh, you have hypothyroidism. Okay, so it's kind of like a falsely elevated TSH due to the fact that you have leptin resistance, and when you lose weight and body fat, it tends to correct itself. So I do say to some people, it may be that you're really not even that hypothyroid. You just have an abnormal marker because of the obesity and the leptin resistance, and therefore, when you lose weight, it will come to, and a lot of those patients, I think this may be why they just lose weight at a normal rate, because they really don't have the thyroid problem. And then after they've lost 50 pounds, guess what happens to the TSH?
It's normal.
It's normal. You got it.
Hi, Marianne. Thanks for joining us. Let us know if anyone has any questions. We can answer them live, as well as the questions that were sent in. And if you're watching this recorded, because they're all recorded, you can always submit a question to be answered in 2 weeks when we are back. So thank you for the couple of people who are here, and let us know if you need anything else. We're going to move on to Patrick.
Patrick from Morrisville.
Yeah, she started the keto diet, was wondering what the go-to snacks were. Well, that's a very good question. We've had actually episodes where all we do is talk about snacks, and the producer has supplied me with an option that is sold in the stores and that we have here. So protein bars are very, very common. I think we've addressed sugar alcohols before, so you do have to be careful when you're first starting to get into ketosis. So Colleen, maybe not doing a ton of this, but once you're in ketosis and you have a good weight loss trend and you need some options, stuff like this can be fantastic.
And here's the deal: if you eat it and you stop losing weight, then quit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Some of this stuff, I know it surprises some of you that it's not always as the advertiser says, right? Okay, sometimes you eat it, and the bottom line is if it takes you out of ketosis, you stop losing weight, guess what?
Yeah.
Scratch it off the list. I've got a colleague, he kind of does what I think is a really cool thing. He has patients he writes them a prescription for the Freestyle Libre, which is a continuous glucose monitoring system intended for diabetics. you have to pay for it out of pocket when you're not a diabetic, right? So, which is a little bit expensive, but the bottom line is this thing, you know, it's a little plate that sticks on your arm and it's there 24 hours a day, and you can just stick your phone over it and it tells you exactly what your blood sugar is. And so what he does is he has them make a spreadsheet. Every day, everything they eat, they're scanning it. And they make their own list of what drives their blood sugar and therefore insulin up. And 40 points is the rule. At 90 minutes, you cannot be at 40 points, right?
It's really smart.
Okay, right. So the bottom line is if you eat this and your blood sugar goes up by 70 points, guess what? It's off the list of what you can have, right? So you develop a personalized list. And I think it's a good example of, hey, these snacks are fine if you can continue to lose weight and they don't drive up your blood sugar and your insulin level, but they're not fine if in your case it doesn't work. And so don't forget about that. I'm a cheese guy. And I'll fight anybody right down to the ground over it if you try to tell me cheese is bad. Cheese isn't bad, okay? Cheese is a little bit of protein and animal fat with a carb count of 0.
And it's delicious.
And and it fills you up, right? And so I'm a big fan of stuff like cheese, and I don't put the crackers on it. I mean, I might buy some of the wisps, okay, which is just
great
baked Parmesan cheese pieces, no carbs, and that's cheese on cheese, really. But if you want the crunchy sensation, that's what you got, right? But I'm used to just buying good cheese, cutting it up, keeping it up, or snacking on cheese, cheese and olive stuff, natural stuff that has 0 carbs in it. Yeah.
So if you're interested in any of these products, we're fully stocked in both of our offices. So if you're coming in for shots, you can definitely check it out and try something. I will just touch on more of the whole unprocessed snacks, like, you know, we're talking about like olives, pickles, right? Veggies with a full fat dip. So guac or pimento cheese or full fat ranch dressing. Those are easy go-tos. Even a low sugar beef jerky, hard boiled eggs, you know, plain yogurt with like some nuts in there, handful of macadamia nuts. I mean, the list is pretty long. Luckily, there's a lot of delicious food you can eat on keto.
Yeah, right.
But I will circle back quick and just say, if you are full from your meals, please don't feel that you have to snack. I think there is definitely a tendency to always need to have these snacks available, but we really have to get back to making sure we're eating only when we are hungry, stopping when we are full, and not eating because it's time, because we're sad, because we're happy, because they're eating, because we're tired, right? Because we're bored.
Absolutely right. Eat slow, let the sensation of fullness catch up to you. Do not eat fast, and then go through that mental exercise. Why am I really eating here? Okay, the lion doesn't eat when he's not hungry.
Right. Okay. So if you're not hungry for a snack, please don't have one.
Yeah, that's right. The lion doesn't eat when he's not hungry. When he eats other animals and grasses. It's a good rule to follow. Okay. Yeah. Don't do it for all these emotional reasons. Okay.
Yeah. And we'll do another show on keto snacks and easy to go to favorites. I think that was a hit show that we did before, so we'll follow up with that one. And Rosa, thank you for joining us.
And I'll say one other thing, just to put a plug in for our practice. We prescribe medication to people here that make them less hungry.
Yes.
Okay. I think Michelle makes a good point. Hell, I mean, Americans just eat way too daggone much. I mean, way too much.
A lot of reasons.
I mean, compared to like all of human history, I mean, they must think if they can see us from wherever they're at after the grave, they must think, wow, what a bunch of selfish people who are just hoarding food, you know? I mean, we eat way too much. So it doesn't hurt. And we know, like from the medical literature, that people who eat less and they do intermittent fasting, that this is actually really healthy for you. I think our bodies, in a lot of ways, are telling us, hey, man, you're overdoing it, right?
Yeah.
And so don't let any of these preconceived notions, like I've got to eat 3 times a day plus snacks in between. Don't let any of these things throw you, okay? All right? Historically, those were never the norm. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, Philip has a question. Do we accept insurance? So we do not accept insurance. However, we do accept the HSA and FSA funds. So some people will have a card, other people will just submit their receipt later. So if you have a high deductible health plan and you have an HSA, you can use those funds. Or if you have a regular plan and you have an FSA, that will be accepted as well.
Yeah, these I don't say what I'm about to say enough, but another way to think about that, Philip, is because I've been doing this for 18 years, right? Just practicing this medicine for 18 years, right? And then I've had to take these medicines myself, and I can tell you. Let's say you come here and you drop $120 a month, okay? If you're taking these medicines that make you less hungry, if you were actually comparing your bills from eating out and from groceries prior to coming to see me. And then once you're taking medicine, you'll realize it pays for itself.
Right.
So if you're I mean, it's a wash. So I think that, in fact, you may be saving some money.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't, I think economically it's an investment in yourself that really pays off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's not to mention, all the consequences of weight related to other medications for blood pressure, because your knees hurt, and for lipids, and all kinds of reasons that you're going to be saving.
Yeah. And then how do you put a price on the quality of life? Your quality of life gets better. All that together, you realize, okay, this is a deal, even if my insurance doesn't want to cover it. I wish insurance did.
Right.
They don't really, they're not really in the business. And the one carrier that, I'm not going to say the name of the carrier, that was kind of covering some of these things, quit carrying it. Okay, they quit covering this stuff in the state. So we're right back to square one. And I'm not waiting for them to get on board. I'm trying to present a financial proposition to my patients that's attractive enough that they'll say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to do this. It's worth the money that I put into it, and I end up saving that much and getting more out of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it rain?
I think
Renee?
I would say rain.
Rain. Okay.
Cool spelling. Rayne.
Yeah. I guess with two E's and the accent over it'd be Renee.
Yes, I think so.
I think with the French things. Rain. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So Rain's asking, are there any benefits to getting chiropractic care while losing weight? I've heard it can help with digestion. Excuse me. So I'm a big fan of chiropractic care. I have gone myself. It's possible if a chiropractor was sitting here, they may have a very different response because there are so many benefits. I am not personally aware of any that are directly
I can't think of anything negative, though. I'll tell you what.
But there are so many health benefits, and it kind of goes back to the injections. When we feel better, we do better.
Yeah.
When we don't hurt, we move more. So I think indirect benefits, absolutely plentiful. Direct benefits, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, right. Does it help with digestion? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But to your point, number one, I can't think of anything negative.
Right.
Okay. Number two, when you're in pain, you can't sleep. And when you don't sleep right, you don't get into deep sleep, you don't lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay. And the mobility issue is also a big issue.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it makes you more mobile and you're in less pain, go for it. Man.
Yeah.
Go for it. I mean, if you don't think it's helping, you'll know, and you can quit it, right?
Sure.
But I can't think of a reason to say no, don't do it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of recommending chiropractic care to patients all the time. And I think there may be a piece of digestion, because I know with chiropractic care, it can really impact our nervous system. A lot of us are like constantly in fight or flight, like this anxious state. And being more in a rest and digest mode, I think, is something that chiropractic care could help with. So it is possible, Rain. I would definitely talk to some chiropractors in the area and give it a try if you're interested in it. So thank you. That was an interesting question. Thank you, Annette, and thank you, Carol, for entering. Rosa, I know you said hi, but you haven't entered yet. So if you want your Target gift card, #Simonds AMA and like this video.
That's right.
All right, we'll take the last one.
Yes, Willow from Raleigh. Can the keto diet really help or even reverse diabetes? Yes.
Yes, it can.
Yes. Yeah. So so here's the way. Here's just understanding. So we give the speech a lot, so it's no big deal. The glucose. All right. Glucose gets too high, you've got diabetes, right? So, Michelle, do you need a lot of glucose to run the body?
No.
You don't need much, do you?
No.
Right. So imagine that. I always say that in a pre-diabetic, the average glucose that's in the bloodstream to make that diet is only 5 grams, which is just a few grains of sugar, for example. Now imagine you're rocking the cake and all that. And how many grams of sugar's in all that? Woo! Goes through the roof, right?
Yeah.
You do this enough, your body loses the ability to be able to handle all of that stuff. And now you've got a situation where the glucose is running wild. You got all this extra insulin that's hanging around the bloodstream. It's not working. The body's become resistant to all these things. It's caused all this damage, right? So you look at diabetics, they got all kind of damage. both macro and microvascular. So their toes start rotting off. They get retinopathy. They get renal failure. All these very, very bad things. You know, a vascular disease, glucose is toxic, right?
Yeah.
A small amount's normal. Anything over that, it's toxic. It's a toxic substance, and you have to be very, very careful, right? So what we're teaching people to do is to get out of your diet the things that raise your glucose, right?
Yes.
And when you cut those out of your diet and you start eating proteins, fats, and vegetables, which don't raise your glucose, what happens to your blood glucose, Michelle?
Right down.
Woo! And over time, your hemoglobin A1C comes down into these ranges that aren't considered diabetic anymore.
Yep.
Okay. Type 2 diabetes, or adult onset diabetes, is a disease of excess carbohydrate in all of its forms.
Yes.
Sugar, flours, rice, and potatoes. That's what it is. And your body's telling you, I'm intolerant to that. Quit doing it to me.
Can't handle it.
Right. Okay. Our ancestors did not eat this way. They ate animals, what came from animals, what they could grow. They were physically active. So they didn't get adult onset diabetes for the most part. This is a thing of modern times, and is accompanied closely the introduction of refined sugar and refined grains into the human diet, right? And everywhere you introduce that, guess what happens? People get overweight from the hyperinsulinemia, and they get diabetes. And so some people call it diabesity as a result, right? Okay, it all goes together. And we're proposing that, hey, this is very common. And the answer, the way out, is to get back to the diet that kept us away from here, okay, which is to not raise our blood sugar all the time. It's not a game of calorie counting and all this stuff, okay? It is a game of eating the right kinds of foods, you know. Again, the stuff our ancestors ate, proteins, fats, vegetables, right? And so, yeah, this is how you deal with type 2 diabetes. Now, I will say, you and I don't tell people, hey, let's exercise to lose weight, right? We don't tell them that. But this is one case where exercise really works to help regulate blood sugar and insulin levels. It does help there. This is a real health benefit. So in addition to this sort of diet, okay, regular exercise makes a difference. And it doesn't have to be really intense exercise. Our ancestors never joined a YMCA and said, oh, we're going to go down for 30 minutes or 45 minutes in the morning and get on something and, you know, or take some class. No, they just walked everywhere, right? They were physically active people. And your body is adapted. Your cells are adapted to this. You return to that. You're returning to the original formula. Animals, what comes from animals? What you grow in gardens, and you're walking. And guess what happens? Boom.
Everything gets better.
That's right. If you're on all these medicines for diabetes, guess what happens there? You come off of them. That's right.
And that happens in our practice all the time.
That's right.
So this is not that unique, Willow, where we see individuals come in who are affected by diabetes and their hemoglobin A1C, which is like a 3-month marker, and their fasting blood sugar are both elevated. And after 3-6 months, sometimes it takes a little longer, 12 months, it will be way back down into the normal range. And we can say, congratulations, you've put your diabetes into remission. It's gone.
That's right. So thanks for watching. Entering today's gift card giveaway. The free Lipotropic Injections are today. Come by either office. We're open 11 to 7 in in Raleigh, and 12 to 7 in Durham. Today's winner of the gift card, the $25 Target gift card, is Annette.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
For everyone.
We're going to message you to find out how to get that to you. And thanks again for watching, everybody, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.